runners going through 4-5 matches here in the lower bracket, making incredible runs here through that lower half. And I think, something to be said about being able to, be that close to being knocked out and still just making it happen game after game, set after set.
Yeah, you definitely love to see it, though, and you never say die. You like to see contestants make these deep runs here. A couple of years ago, we had Scotty be that never say die contestant, and this year, you're looking at either JPop4Life or Sigmafan. They both could stamp their mark into that never say die category. Right now, it is going to be JPop with our first hole shot of the match, a mid 41 versus a low 42 for Sigmafan. What kind of lead would you say that would be, Burgundy?
I would say that is negligible.
Yeah, negligible lead. It's a spreader and a razor shield, respectively, for our two runners here. They're, of course, looking to get that orb to double their firing lanes. So right now, a nuke versus a foot. Nothing to write home about for either player, but that invulnerability will pair up nicely for JPop4Life. And now they both get an orb, you guys.
Equal opportunity on both sides. The game given the orb at practically the same time, so we'll see how that does here as they're both pretty much about to finish the room, and oh my goodness.
Yep, it's that same negligible lead that was coming out of Arena 1. They have that same lead now. Does JPop4Life into Eat My Shrapnel? A good rocket drop there will help clean up this room, and more rockets just as a little bit of insurance. As you know, it is 18 Mr. Shrapnels that we have to take down, and no more than 4 can be on the screen at any given point. Back-to-back-to-back rockets for JPop4Life. Save it for Tank Trouble game.
Yeah,
That's
incredible.
wild. Good taps.
Oh yeah, just incredible drops. It's one of those things. Obviously, you set yourself up just fine and dandy for this room, but you're not wrong. Let's get that, perhaps into Tank Trouble. Maybe making sure that we get them some rockets here in total carnage. But yeah, we'll still take it.
Yeah, they both had very good rooms, but the fact that JPop had those rockets and timed the last shot perfectly, gained another half a second on Sigmafan, and now has back-to-back rockets of her own here in Total Carnage. We could see a possible change in leadership if this keeps up, but here's some rockets for JPop. Not the greatest response, but a good grab there nonetheless. Both keeping control of the middle of the room and both doing a really good job with their firing lanes. It is still anybody's game at this point. A little bit of a dangerous grab of that key there for Sigma because she could have been picked off there, but she's trying to buy better drops, and hey, she did with that late razor shield.
Nice spot here late in the room.
Great nuke
great
there for JPop. 2:55 and Sigma with a 3-minute flat. It's now a 5-second lead for JPop. Great heads-up play there on that nuke.
Yeah, just using that timing, it's you love seeing that sub 3 minute. Obviously, Sigmafan not too shabby herself on that one, just over that 3. Both these runners doing pretty well here as we go to Tank Trouble. What's that first drop going to yield? Ooh, life, that is not a good thing.
And in a really bad spot as well, so he's just going to ignore it. Sigmafan gets an opening nuke on the feet, can focus on one gunner, and now we'll see if she can take care of the second gunner. She's trying to keep control of the middle of the room as well, but this is tough. She's getting a little bit overwhelmed, getting pushed around here. JPop4Life, meanwhile, trying to dance around some bullets here, still has his orb intact. Both runners doing a very good job with what little the game has given them in this room up to this point. And vulnerability, she can at least ignore the gunner's bullets. And now a razor shield will definitely help Sigmafan. But rockets for JPop. Sigma will be able to get to those rockets despite where it was with that razor shield. So both these runners getting the goods, but it is still going to be a JPop lead with a 4:09, a very good time. Chance for a PB potential here. Sigmafan, though, holding her own here. Only 8 seconds back with a 4:17, and they both have a ball buster opportunity.
Yeah, 8 seconds. You're looking at a single drop really going one way or the other. Gunners go down for JPop. Let's see if that ball buster lands it.
Yep, Sigmafan gets rockets to take care of the gunners. Now she's going to try and get her ball buster. Nailed it. So 2 for 2 on ball busters for both of the runners. Sigma looking for a spreader, but it's a K. That is bad news for Sigma as JPop has back-to-back lobbers now as the first arm pops off. Lobbers now for Sigma. Rockets for JPop can just ignore it. Focus on the lobbers. Sigma may grab these rockets once the lobbers start to run dry, and she does to keep the damage going here. But look at this spreader here for JPop.
Has to walk up just a little bit, but is able to pop that chest open and pop the head off as well before getting run over.
And that's too bad because I think that was an invulnerability and another invulnerability. If that doesn't say game knows, I don't know what does, because he had some sight still on a possible PB there. Not going to happen though, but it's still with a commanding lead. It is looking good for JPop to draw first blood in this best of 7 as the rib cage is exposed. Final form, it's a 2 forms lead right now for JPop4Life. Does get run over though. Spreader for Sigma, it's a long ways to go. It is gettable if she can go around it. Can she? Yes, somehow.
Yes.
Got to that spreader. And an empty drop for JPop.
Yeah, some good shots, some decent manualing as well within a form. One more spreader could maybe pull it ahead. Grenades are pretty good though for JPop. Lobbers will probably do it if he can land these shots. Yeah.
That is going to do it. Yeah, but valiant try for Sigma to come from behind, but that early spreader that JPop got was more than enough to claim victory in game number 1. I'll tell you what though, both runners very impressive here in game number 1. A 6-14 for JPop. Sigma just looking to wrap things up here. Just didn't quite get the drops that JPop got in that fight. Both had ball busters, both had great arena gameplays, but once again, as it seems to have happened a lot, especially in the later rounds, gentlemen, Mutoid Man having the final say as it's about a 20-second win for JPop.
Mutoid Man doing Mutoid Man things, being the great equalizer, and you saw this. The drops were a little bit better on J-Pop's side, but both playing exceptionally well. And I have a feeling that this lead is going to go back and forth here.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw this go back and forth, the way that those runners played game number 1. We'll see if they can keep it up in game number 2. But yes, JPop won 12 seconds on that Mutoid Man fight, because what was an 8-second lead ended up winning by 20 seconds. So reasonably comparable Mutoid Man fights between the two. But yeah, Sigma needed the 12 seconds to go her way to take game number 1. We'll see if she can tie it up in game number 2.
And you know what? As far as we have obviously, you know, we're talking about phenomenal spread of runners that we have still alive in the bracket right here. I think potentially out of anybody that's going to be able to shake off a game, move on to the next one. She's seen some terrible RNG, especially early in this tournament. I think it's Sigmafan potentially, just being able to kind of brush off, you know, race that didn't quite go your way, still put up a decent enough time, move on to the next one. I think Sigmafan's going to come out strong game 2.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening in game number 2. And yeah, you're absolutely right about Sigmafan. She's had a lot of bad breaks roll against her in tournament play, but this year she's finally getting some of the breaks working for her. We'll see if she can rebound here in game number 2, or if JPop4Life, our Rookie of the Year, can take a commanding 2-0 lead here in this best of 7 showdown. Again, whoever wins this matchup will move on to take on the defending champion CHX42 in the next round of the second chance bracket. And I do believe that would be, yes, that would be our quarterfinals in the second chance bracket. So there you go.
How about that? Last seconds to get your channel point predictions in. Only a couple of seconds left here to see who takes game 2. Will Sigmafan even it up? Well, looks like there are 4 total wagers. It's an even split, but a lot more of the points being placed over on JPop's side. So, well, we'll see. Sigma evening it up could be fruitful for whoever those 2 individuals are.
Yep, a very slight hole shot for JPop. It is anybody's game in to collect power-ups. Now, we saw JPop. No player was going for manipulation that time, so let's see what the opening drop is going to be for both. Invulnerability versus a Razor Shield. Slight advantage for Sigma, but needs to have something to go with that Razor Shield. That Spreader will do nicely, but a foot to go with that invulnerability. Wrong way, game. Order of operations. Rockets. Oh, but gets sabotaged with grenades on the feed for JPop. Rockets though for Sigma.
Yeah, rockets. You could ride the rockets. You could pretty much get through most of this room right there, and that's pretty much what we see on Sigma's side, along with the Razor, of course. 123 out, not too shabby. Yeah, that grenade's kind of sabotaged some time for JPop right there, having as many rockets as they did. Oh, the swirl though, actually getting at Sigma, but there is the orb.
Yeah, that's the Prince Leaf special right there. Just take the intentional death and you'll get an orb. And an orb for JPop as well. So there you go, equal opportunity drops.
You'd love to see it. Here we go. Both runners going to be sitting pretty, going through this. The early parts of Eat My Shrapnel out of the way. Should be easy riding here. Although, yeah, 3 shrapnels on the board for Sigma, but taken care of. Yeah, there you go. Back down to 1.
Yeah, the death is going to be a time penalty, though, for Sigmafan, so she's going to give up some of that lead. It's a 206, and especially with the rocket closer for JPop. Oh, no, not quite, not quite. So it's still an 8-second lead, so that particular death did not cost Sigmafan any time. Sometimes a death won't cost you any time. We saw that there on Sigma's side. So it's still an 8-second lead, starting total carnage. We have a spreader for JPop, nothing for Sigmafan right now, so... Sigma kind of scrambling just a little bit here. There's a spreader in a tight location. Good grab, good patience there so that the green shirt didn't pick off the orb. Breather for Sigma now as she picks up a nuke. JPop not really getting much of anything on his side. So we'll just stay in the middle to keep the kill count high. A lot of spreaders on Sigmafan. Hey, save it for the Mutoy Man fight.
But why would the game do that, Mr. Consergo?
Right, Bergs. Meanwhile, Rockets and a Razor Shield late for JPop, so he may cut into some of that lead on Sigmafan. And in fact, he's taken the lead by a half a second, 8.5-second gain for JPop there. Just, I think he had better firing lanes because Sigmafan had to go a lot out of her way several times to pick up spreaders, and that hurt her firing lanes and kill count. So JPop with the better firing lanes, able to take a small lead on Sigma.
Super impressive here, and neither with anything to carry into tank trouble. Let's see what these first drops are going to be. A nuke versus rockets.
Both good drops, but the much better drop for Sigmafan with the rockets as both gunners go down, but both gunners are now down on JPop's side as well. So this is just a matter of keeping the orb, keeping control of the middle, keeping the kill count high, and not making mistakes here. Green shirt getting a little bit closer on Sigma's side here. JPop looking real good right now. There's a nuke. He could grab it if he wants a little bit of a breather, but he might just stay in the middle. That's exactly what he does. Wants to keep the kill count going here. Sigma doing a lot of bobbing and weaving, keeping that orb healthy, dancing around the bullets, dancing around the swarmers. She keeps the orb intact out of this room. I am impressed with this. JPop is still gonna have the lead, but only by 1 second. But the advantage for JPop, he starts with rockets, can focus on the gunners up front first, then go for the ball buster. Good game here, I'm loving it.
Yeah, like just to be that tight as far as going into Mutoid Man, yet again, just gonna be a single drop kind of going one way or the other could really decide this one. Both with lobbers to start out here, so dealing some decent damage. But a refill on JPop's side that's a little bit better.
Back-to-back empties for Sigma. And yes, Sigma did get the ball, but I didn't see if JPop got it or not. All right. Back-to-back empty drops for Sigma. Now going to take the Telio and hope for a spreader here. Instead, it's grenades. So the lead right now back to JPop after that early ball buster and lobbers. But yeah, didn't get the ball buster. Got flexed by Mutoid's foot, apparently. But yes, JPop has gotten the lead just because Sigma has been getting hosed and hosed again. Finally picks up the lobber. But the damage is already done. Another empty drop. That's 4 out of 5 on Sigma's side. It's a full form lead right now for JPop. Sigma needs to see a spreader here. It's another lobber, but it's a lobber on JPop, so just not able to cut into that lead. Final form should be coming real soon for JPop if he lands his shots. Sigma missing some shots here, and it's still a full form lead for JPop. There's a spreader though for Sigma. It's a long ways to go, but it's definitely gettable.
You're having to go across pretty much the entirety of the map right there to get that. Still does pretty well.
Ooh,
Gets underneath,
crit.
some great damage.
Could get to that lobber. Could get to that lobber, but it's not enough.
Oh, but
JPop is
just
going to
too
hang
late.
on. Oh, what a close game. Sigma did everything she could, but having 4 empty drops out of 5 there sabotaged their chances there. And with a 6-15, it is going to be JPop taking a 2-0 lead. Sigma did absolutely nothing wrong in that game, but once again, Mutoid Man fight, she lost this time 13 seconds because it was pretty much even. So she lost, or I beg your pardon, it was a 1-second game. JPop had the lead. 12 seconds again, you guys. The difference was 12 seconds. So far, Mutoid Man has favored JPop4Life, and it's 2-0. The RNG has to tilt her way in game number 3. To me, this is a must-win for Sigma.
The RNG has to tilt her way, or otherwise we might see her on tilt soon, the way that this luck has gone.
Yeah, she has done absolutely nothing wrong in this match so far. Her arena gameplay has been crisp. Her Mutoid Man fights have been fine. It's just she's not getting the weapon quality that she needs to keep up with JPop. But JPop has also played the arenas very, very well, and he's also played the Mutoid Man fights very well. This is what you like to see here, especially in these late stages of the tournament. You're seeing 2 runners here who are playing exceptionally well. They are playing their hearts out, doing everything they can to give themselves the best opportunities to win. It's just unfortunate right now, Mutoid Man has heavily leaned toward JPop's favor at this point. Let's see if the luck changes in game number 3.
Getting our runners counted in right there. Should be good to go as we go into game 3. I'm still expecting this thing to potentially go. I can't see the sweep happening by any means. But yeah, you're not wrong. RNG really just down at that Mutoid fight. Has to start swinging the other way potentially. Sigmafan to take game 3. We'll have to have that luck start to shake out for her. But here we go. Game 3, Arena 1.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. So here we go. They both have their Razor Shields, and JPop once again is going to try for the manipulation here of getting that orb. He's missed on his first 2 runs. He's trying again here in game number 3. We'll see if he ends up getting that first drop orb in collect power-ups, and we'll see who ends up getting the whole shot as well. And it does look like this is very close, and they're practically even. So
Yeah,
That's a dead heat.
it is a dead
It's
heat. Indeed.
it's beyond negligible. It is just, it's basically, all right, we'll call it a draw.
Absolutely. Do we get an orb? Nope. So 0 for 3 on manipulation so far. JPop almost gets run over, almost gets clubbed down by the green shirt there. Spreader for Sigma. So again, the early advantage for drops going to Sigma, but here come the rockets, which should help JPop perhaps take a lead.
Ooh, grenades right there, kind of sabotaging in the center for JPop. Have to kind of work around those. Not a great placement of the grenades for Sigma as well. Razor Shield will kind of get to the end, but didn't really need that. And ooh, luckily gets that shrapnel too. That explosion would have taken some time.
It's about a 6.5-second lead now for JPop, just because that rocket propelled JPop to finish off that room very nicely. Sigma had to scramble just a little bit here. Speaking of scrambling, she's scrambling here at the start of Eat My Shrapnel, and there are 4 shrapnels on the screen, so we're going to see more time bleeding on Sigmafan's side. Just not getting the quality of weapons here in game number 3. Finally get some rockets, which should stop the bleeding, but the damage is already done. Meanwhile, though, JPop still does not have an orb either, so if Sigmafan can see an orb and not JPop, maybe that's the turnaround that she needs. Now it is still going to be a 208, a lead for JPop, no orb. And Sigma has actually gained time, so JPop must have been struggling with the room as well, because it's down to a 5.5-second lead for JPop. So anybody's game, a battle of attrition, if you will, gentlemen, as neither player has an orb, and both runners have to be getting worried at this point. And JPop, a mistake there. He was a little bit too impatient on that orb grab, because as you know, that orb spawns at 2 o'clock, and that soldier was right there to pick off that orb on JPop.
Yeah, you got to be kicking yourself in total carnage. It's sometimes, you know, this room is the one that starts to get a little tricky for you in the run. But yeah, you see that drop. You might not see another orb drop for the rest of the game here. So to to have that advantage potential and lose it that quickly, that's going to be a rough one. Let's see. Rockets though, that'll help.
Yeah, should be able to still sustain the lead because Sigma really hasn't gotten the drops to keep her afloat. Does get a Razor Shield, which should help her a little bit, but I expect this is still going to be a JPop. Yes, JPop's still going to have the lead. There's Rockets to close it for Sigma. It's a 317 for a JPop, but Sigma's right there. Only lost a second in that room and does have half a clip of rockets to start tank trouble, so she should have the advantage at the start. So right now, anybody's game, but Sigma has still not seen an orb at all. JPop had a chance. JPop could have been up by over 20 seconds if he was just a little bit more patient on that orb grab.
We'll see if that's going to become the difference. Invulnerability, not the best to grab. We'll be able to kind of ignore the bullets, though.
There's an orb.
There's
bad
another
spot,
orb.
Good grab. That time he showed the patience enough, got the room cleared
no.
up, but then lost the orb immediately. So JPop having some struggles here with his arena gameplay in game number 3. But Sigma at 4 minutes in still has not seen an orb, as they both have rockets that are about to expire. But a refill for JPop definitely gonna help him, and an orb replacement. The game is just trying. Sigma finally gets an orb at about the 410 mark here. My word. See if she can keep it. This could get a little dicey, getting very dicey on Sigma's side. Has a grenade. JPop is done, but is not going to be happy with a 4:31 entry time into Mutoy Man, but does still have the lead. We'll try and get everything lined up on Sigma's side, but she's getting a little overwhelmed. Dodges the shrapnel and still very much alive with a 4:37. It's a 6-second lead for JPop, and they both have a ball buster opportunity.
Betters go down for JPop. Oh, it looked like it at first, but it goes.
Just missed. It is not a ball buster for JPop, so a chance for Sigmafan. Unfortunately, looks like we might be having some technical difficulties on her side. You could definitely see it in the Mutoy Man for a split second. And right now, she's just trying to focus on the gunners. Now going to go after the ball buster. She misses.
Oh.
So again, we have some technical difficulties, and now we have lost her completely, but we're going to try to get her back. Looks like we did, as the second arm has popped off on JPop's side, but we're still having problems on Sigma's side. Does have lobbers, so you're going to have to note the timers here for the time being if we can't get everything lined up by the time this game is over with. So right now, it's about a full form lead for JPop, as he's just gotten the more consistent, and now he's got the head popped off. He's looking real good to win game number 3 and take it commanding. And now this spreader could be your dagger right here in game number 3 for JPop. He will be able to make this grab. Final form should be coming up. Missing some shots, though, not getting all on that spreader as he liked to, so he's not going to get any transfer damage on it, but I don't think it's going to matter at this point because Sigma is just too far behind at this point. And there it is. JPop is going to win game number 3 and is going to take an absolutely commanding 3-0 lead in this best of 7. So once again, RNG not in Sigmafan's favor, and again, just not getting the drops in Mutoy Man. She was trailing coming in, but once again, it's Mutoy Man favoring JPop. The spreader ends up being the final dagger of this game, and now Sigmafan, her back is firmly against the wall.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough situation right here because you didn't see an orb for 4 minutes right there on Sigma's side. Just not getting that RNG. Now in the arena gameplay, just not going your way if you're Sigmafan. Yeah, sub 7 minute, not exactly the best time. You know you're getting screwed throughout that run right there. And yeah, here we go. Match point for JPop is gonna have upwards of 4 opportunities to take this match.
Yeah, quadruple match point for JPop4Life. I mean, Sigmafan just got no breaks in that game. I mean, she didn't do too badly with what the game gave her, and then when she got the orb, she kept it all the way through. But once again, Mutoy Man for the 3rd straight game, JPop had the better RNG and gained more seconds on her. And if that luck does not change in game number 4, it is going to be a quick out, 4 and out for Sigmafan here in this money round. Looks like we lost Bergs for a moment. Maybe his internet decided to poof out again, but hopefully we can get him back.
Yeah, hopefully. Definitely a lot of fun on a Sunday having the three-man booth going. A lot of fun for some great matches here. Let me get these two counted in, as so we get game 4 started up.
Yeah, I mean, JPop4Life did not have the greatest of arena gameplays in game number 3. Lost time on Eat My Shrapnel, the impatient orb grab in Total Carnage, losing an orb in Tank Trouble, and then getting a third orb. I mean, just getting gifted orbs there in that match, you know, to really put himself in a good spot to win game number 3. And that's exactly what happened here. So now Sigmafan is going to need a lot of help here to make this comeback happen. But as Brysolf says, you can't win 4 games all at once. You have to do it 1 game at a time. Survive and advance. We'll see how this plays out. Game number 4, here we go. As we're going to get both runners in sync here. Hopefully we don't have any technical issues, but we of course want to thank our very own Mr. Dino for keeping everything under control here on GG Speedruns. As always, we appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. The behind the scenes work of Mr. Dino can never be understated for sure. Doing all of that heavy lifting for us so that we all can enjoy it here on a wonderful Sunday here on GG Speedruns. Let's see, whole shot, just a slight advantage to JPop here. Let's see what that first drop is.
Got it.
That's that orb.
Finally got the manipulation down. It took him 4 attempts, but he gets it on the 4th attempt. So JPop has the first opening orb of this match, and this could be a big one. But Sigma does have rockets to start the room, but she needs to see an orb soon, or she could be double digits back early. And she can't be double digits back early against someone like JPop, who's going to have a 79 into Eat My Shrapnel. Unfortunately, I think we had a shrapnel go off. That's why he lost a little bit of time there. And yeah, Sigmafan 7 seconds back early and still does not have an orb. And look at this, JPop getting a rocket. He's got all he needs to keep this room under control. Just everything is coming up JPop here in this match. Sigma does get the orb. She needed that, folks.
Oh yeah, that was big for her right there. Being able to get something back, being able to kind of hang around here in Eat My Shrapnel. You don't have that in this room. You're just kind of watching that time tick away when you're in Total Carnage, just potentially knowing that your opponent has that. Rockets and the orb for JPop should be a good start to the room here.
All right, it's a 7-second lead for JPop, but Sigma has rockets to start. But here's rockets for JPop in Total Carnage. So 7 seconds is the deficit, and yeah, that orb is going to keep Sigma in this one. Bergs, I guess you could say she's hanging around.
You could say she has alligator blood, potentially.
There you go. Both of them getting a key here. There is no Pleasure Dome, an easy percent game. No keys, please. Nuke there for Sigma. A dude for JPop. Sigma will grab the nuke to give herself a little bit of a breather here. So again, it was a 7-second lead for JPop starting this room. I would imagine, yeah, he's gonna get a late Razor Shield, so this will help protect him through the rest of the way here. Just has the shrapnels to finish off. Does so very, very nicely. And it's a sub-3 into the bonus room for JPop. That's a solid time there. I'll tell you what, Sigmafan, she gained a half a second. It's a 6.5 second lead now for JPop4Life. And I think it's time for some product placement. Oh, Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell.
Get yourself a Baja Blast and what the is there a 5-layer beefy 5-layer burrito? There we go.
Oh, now that sounds really good right about now. So JPop4Life gets a foot as the opening drop, just can ignore it. Sigmafan's opening drops a nuke, can definitely help her out, take care of one of the gunners, which she does. JPop has both of the gunners down now, very good. So definitely back on track with his arena gameplay here in game number 4. Sigmafan gets a spreader, could be enough to clear the gunner, and it is just enough to take care of the gunner. Now it's just keeping the kill count high. Ooh, Sigmafan getting a little bit too close and finally gives up the orb, and now JPop can really boost the lead. But the Rockets for Sigma, when you don't have an orb, and gets an orb replacement, will she be able to keep it? Yes, very good.
Wow, very surprised able to get that grab. It looked like everything was coming out of the eastern door right there to prevent that, but
Oh, Rockets on the feet for Sigmafan, and that's going to keep her afloat. In fact, she gained some time. I think she's cut it to about a 4-second lead on JPop4Life. So Sigmafan definitely in the running. Got that replacement orb after she used up the rest of her rockets. That couldn't have worked out any better for Sigmafan to cut into that lead. But now this is where it really counts. She needs this Mutoid Man fight to go good. No ball buster for either player.
ooh, just the miss right there. Yeah, that's
And an
unfortunate.
empty drop for Sigma.
Not again.
Empty drop for JPop at the very least, you know, maybe to give her a little hope. And another empty drop as JPop gets a spreader, gets some good manuals in there. Lobbers for Sigmafan, but that lead right now firmly in JPop's grasp by more than a full form. Lobbers now for Sigma, a spreader, but JPop can't die for it, so gonna have to go manuals here, and not getting any manuals at the moment, getting a couple shots in there, but not really much doing with the manuals there, but does get the rib cage exposed, so that lead's still increasing. Empty drop though for both runners. It's lobbers for Sigma, rockets for JPop. Sigma needs to see a spreader, and she needs to see it right now. Has to see it right now if she wants to come back. Empty drop, JPop will be able to grab it, force another drop. If it's a spreader, this game is over. Head pops off now for JPop, but yeah, it's a full form lead for JPop4Life. Sigma has tried to cut into that deficit. It's just not enough. She needs a spreader. Final form now for JPop. This could be the end right here. There's a spreader, but that is the worst drop in the final form. So JPop will be able to grab this spreader. A lobber for Sigmafan, and this looks like the writing on the wall here. But JPop gets run over. He gets run over, and there's a spreader for Sigma, but it's too... She waited too long.
Late.
She waited way too long to take that death. Yeah, she needed to take it immediately to have a shot at it. There's another spreader.
Oh, no.
But it doesn't matter. It's too late. JPop is gonna win. Wow. All day, the RNG host Sigmafan. She made very, very few mistakes in her arena gameplay. I think she made a total of 1, and that was late, and she ended up getting a replacement orb out of it anyway. So for all intents and purposes, she didn't make a single mistake in her arena gameplay and ended up getting swept 4-0 because Mutoid Man all 4 games was on JPop's side. It's just absolutely unfair sometimes, gentlemen.